Chrysler, Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha, Lynch Buick GMC in West Bend, and of course, the Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington. Or search the huge Lynch selection and shop 24 hours a day at shoplynch.com.
Ever feel like you're playing hide and seek with the store employees while shopping for your home renovation?
Hey, can I get some help here?
Skip the hassle and head to Granite Plus for experts who know granite, Cambria, cabinets, and flooring. Granite Plus gives you personalized expertise and affordability with 0% financing available. Visit Granite Plus in New Berlin today and say goodbye to the big store confusion. Granite Plus, better design, service, value. Make your home the perfect gathering spot today.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
In 21st century America, it's hard to know who or what to believe. The bureaucracy embraces its own agenda. The news media vilifies traditional American values. Social media is a sewer of disinformation. News Talk 1130 WISN is the counterpoint to all of it. We believe in intellectual honesty, and we believe that good and decent people are more than capable of processing that honesty and be better off for it. Believe us, because we believe in you. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Folks, I'll tell you, there is absolutely nothing that gets my blood boiling worse than this thing that keeps happening in Milwaukee and all across the country. People who are thoroughly undeserving of leniency because of ridiculous notions of social justice and getting our prison populations down. And remember, the current governor of Wisconsin actually promised while he was running way back in 2018 to reduce Wisconsin's prison population by half. Now, I'm not blaming Tony Evers for the crash that killed Talise Dunmore on Saturday night, but I'm saying this mindset that no matter what, we have to decriminalize crime. This is what I'm talking about. The George Floyd effect goes far beyond simply the defunding of the police. And I hope that people understand this. Certainly you do, listening to my show since at least 2020. This is a long-standing thing. The idea here of the liberals who control the criminal justice system, not just in Milwaukee, we see the same thing in Madison. We see the same thing in communities where we shouldn't see the same thing, where conservatives typically do demand more accountability for crime and harsher sentences that protect the public, a refusal to give signature bond or a low bond when it's not merited or warranted. But what we see is this push for the idea that somehow we have too many Black and Hispanic people behind bars, and instead of trying to, so, folks, the criminal justice system is responsive by nature. Police respond to a crime. Police arrest the criminals. Prosecutors charge the criminals. Judges and juries convict them. Judges sentence them. It is all in response to a behavior by a criminal. Somewhere along the line, the left decided that individuals are not responsible for their own behavior. And this really does get to the heart of the left-wing belief about crime, that society as a whole is somehow always always responsible. And it's society's fault that a higher percentage of black and Hispanic criminals are committing crimes than, say, white criminals. In terms of total numbers, it's not even close. White people commit more crimes than black people or Hispanic people, but as a per capita ratio of total populations of each, the percentages are much higher of the total populations of black and brown people. Liberals look at that and say this is unacceptable. We need to... Clearly, the criminal justice system is targeting black and brown people. Well, the problem here is the vast majority of crimes committed in this country are intra-racial, meaning you'll have a white criminal, you'll have a white defendant, and a white victim. You'll have a black criminal, black defendant, black victim. How do police hear about crimes? Do they just sort of show up and say, hey, here's a black man, let's arrest him? No, they're getting called. Remember, they are responsive. They respond to calls from citizens who say, hey, I just had my purse stolen. Here's a description of the suspect. He's a black male wearing a black hoodie, and he was wearing red pants. They look a little bit, hey, we found a black male meeting that description, and what do you know? He's got the purse in his possession. He's arrested. Is there any racism there whatsoever? The victim is black. The suspect is black. Oftentimes, the police officer who arrests him is black. So there's nothing, there's no systemic racism at all. But, and there are a lot of reasons for this. One, in 2020, we essentially shut down the court system. We decided that somehow keeping the Ace Hardware stores open was a necessary thing, but the court system is not apparently a necessary function of society. This is how screwed up 2020 was. So there's this massive backlog of cases, and the Milwaukee County DA's office thinks the best way to deal with this is to just not charge anybody. If we don't have any new crimes coming in, then guess what? We're not going to have more people clogging up the system. So to reduce the backlog, the district attorney's office simply processed about 60% of all felony cases that were coming in 2020, 2021, and 2022, according to reporting by our friends at WisconsinRightNow.com. The number was close to 80%. 80% of misdemeanors. So there's just no crime. Now, this is why the FBI crime statistics that just came out, Democrats, including Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, oh my goodness, look, our approach is working, crime is down. Yeah, let's compare that to 2019. The baseline year is not 2022 to 2023. The baseline year is 2019. Everything changed following the death of George Floyd in 2020. We decided that for social justice reasons, because we're such a racist country and the criminal justice system is no better than the old slave. Seriously, you had people in 2020. This is how nuts people went. You had people on the left saying that the police departments, the history of policing stems from the slave catchers in the 1800s in the South. That's not even close to true. Do you know when the first permanent police department was formed in the United States? It was actually the NYPD. Do you know what they were responding to? Something called the Eggnog Riot at West Point. You think I'm kidding me? You think I'm kidding? The cadets at West Point smuggled in a whole bunch of spiked eggnog and got super drunk. This was in the 1700s, maybe early 1800s. I did an episode of Forgotten History on this, and folks, I've made the executive decision. At some point, I'm going to go to upper management and say, look, we're going to bring back Forgotten History. We have an issue with the copyright and the music. We're not allowed to do it. I'm going to say, you know what? We're going to figure out something. We're going to bring it back because I miss doing this. The Eggnog Riot led to this standoff with the cadets and West Point, and New York said, hey, wait a second, we should probably have a standing force to deal with stuff like this. So the NYPD was formed out of what was known as the Eggnog Riot. Seriously, it's fascinating history. Look it up. But you actually have a whole lot of people who believe that police and the law enforcement system, that it's just like slavery. Oh, yes. exactly the same, that we imprison people for killing other people. That's the exact same as buying and selling human beings and working them to death for no wages and treating them as property. Yes, exactly the same, liberals. Good job, way to go. But this idea has been so deeply ingrained in the people who control the criminal justice system, the chief judges, the district attorneys, the chiefs of police, the mayors who are implementing policy. All of them, all Democrats in inner cities across the country. And what you're having is an explosion of crime because people understand that there are no consequences. In Philadelphia over the weekend, you had basically a massive mob break out. They were stomping on the windshields of police cars. Do you think these are people that fear the consequences of criminal activity? Of course they don't. They do things like this because they know nothing bad is going to happen to them. And what we have also done is not only disincentivized good behavior and incentivized bad behavior because, hey, there's no consequence for the bad things that I'm doing. You also aren't taking the bad people out of society. That is a primary reason why we have imprisonment. Because there are some people that will just commit crimes. In any population, in any given city, any given state, any given place on earth, there is a population. It is small. It's probably 5% of the population. But they will commit crimes and keep committing crimes and keep committing crimes. And the only thing you can do is lock them up until they sort of age out of it. Usually it's about 40 to 50 years old. That, hey, maybe I should try to turn my life around and do something with my life. For a lot of people, it's 20, 30 years old. At some point, it sort of clicks, hey, I need to turn my life around. There's a tiny percentage who just cannot be rehabilitated. They're just always going to be criminals. They're always going to be a danger to other people. But one of the basic societal functions of a law enforcement system, and this goes all the way back to the very beginnings of civilization. My goodness, the Ten Commandments, the Code of Hammurabi. We have always had behaviors that we realized needed to be strictly punished, primarily to protect the law-abiding from those who are just not going to follow the law. Somewhere along the way, and it probably was the 1960s, 1970s, the rise of kind of mainstream Marxists in the baby boom college campuses. You know, you had these younger professors and students who were openly talking about these ideas, this just radical stuff about dismantling society and somehow the protection of innocent people is just like slavery. I mean, it's just radical stuff. Well, those people have grown up, and those people are now the most powerful in this country whose ideas have been mainstreamed, and the rest of us are living with the consequences. We're going to break another story. It's not technically exclusive, but I have not yet heard it reported. The group involved made a big stink about it. I have not yet heard this reported in any news outlet. Is Lamar Advertising discriminating against Catholic conservatives? That next.
Hi, I'm Dewey Strobel. When I learned that 1 in 7 Wisconsinites struggle with literacy and that only 13% of elementary students at our state's largest school district read at grade level, I knew we had to do something. Reading is the #1 building block for learning, and our kids were falling behind. So I introduced and passed a bipartisan literacy bill to develop a proven phonics-based curriculum and give schools the resources they need to implement it. Teaching our kids to read isn't partisan. I worked with elected officials from both sides of the aisle to get this bill signed into law by Governor Evers. Because to keep our state moving forward, we have to make sure our kids have the tools they need to be successful. I'm Dewey Strobel, and when Wisconsin is facing serious issues, you can count on me to cut through the partisan gridlock and deliver results for you and your family. I'd be honored to earn your vote for State Senate this November. Paid for by Dewey for Senate.
Get answers to your remodeling questions from Milwaukee NARI Home Improvement Council members on this week's Remodeling Show. To find a trusted, qualified, dependable, and local remodeling specialist, turn to NARI. Call 414-771-4071 or visit MilwaukeeNARI.org.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services and host of the Designer Yard Show. Do you live in a home with distinctive architectural charm? Maybe it's a classic Dutch colonial with a timeless gambrel roof, or a prairie-style home with sleek horizontal lines. We admire unique architecture and the beauty of its influence throughout our homes. But does your landscape reflect that same character? At Seasonal Services, we believe the beauty of your home's architecture shouldn't stop at the walls. It should flow outdoors into the landscape. Your outdoor space should embrace the architectural features you love. Since 1994, the architects at Seasonal Services have been blending personal style with architectural harmony. We design and craft outdoor environments that complement the beauty and the character of your home. If you're planning a landscaping project and want to honor your home's architectural charm, call Brett Ochtenhagen's Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or visit us online at seasonalservices.com.
With nearly 50 years of experience, my dad, Jim Mullally, has taught my cousin Mark everything he knows. In fact, he bestowed so much expertise onto Mark that Mark went to New York to compete against the top furniture finishers in the country. And you know what? He won! So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. The bulk of our business is in wood furniture restoration. We found that there are a lot of folks out there with antique furniture and heirloom pieces that are in good shape, but just need to be brought back to life again. Well, that's our specialty. And right here in Mequon, you'll find one of the country's top furniture finishers. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Hi, I'm Mike Madsen, owner of Color Wheel Painting. I have a confession. In 20 years of business, Color Wheel has made a lot of mistakes. Too many to count. We even have some negative Google reviews. We don't pay to have them scrubbed. I remember unplugging an internet box and having a customer come flying down the stairs yelling at me. He was a day trader. I've chased a dog down the street because I never asked my customers if they had any escape artist pets. I've used the wrong bathroom, been too early, left too late, and the list goes on. But you know what? Color Wheel has made it 20 years because everyone here has learned from the mistakes made. Any problem became an opportunity. Any oversight became a process revision. And now I can confidently say Color Wheel Painting is the best choice for anyone seeking an overall great experience and great results for their painting project. So choose Color Wheel. Color Wheel Painting. ColorWheelPainting.com.
Breathing triangle problems negatively affect your sleep, making it hard to be at your best. Balloon Sinuplasty can help solve these problems so you can breathe well, sleep well, and live better.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
I'm Carrie Champion, and this is Season 4 of Naked Sports. Up first, I explore the making of a rivalry. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese.
Every great player needs a foil.
People are talking about women's basketball just because of one single game.
I just come here to play basketball every single day.
Clark and Reese have changed the way we consume women's sports. Listen to The Making of a Rivalry, Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search The Making of a Rivalry, Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, and start listening.
For those of you listening listening on WISN Radio, our flagship, you heard that advertisement for a podcast, The Rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Did you notice how little fanfare Clark got for winning the AP WNBA Rookie of the Year unanimously on Sunday? She was named to the first team All-WNBA team. She finished fourth in WNBA MVP voting. And nobody seems to be talking about it. I'm old enough to remember, ladies and gentlemen, way back in August, when ESPN on ESPN.com was trying to assert with a straight face that Angel Reese was actually the WNBA Rookie of the Year. They did their rookie rankings, and Angel Reese was always in first, and Caitlin Clark in second. And then somebody on Twitter, or X, I guess I should say, said the immortal comment, "This is like thinking Andre Drummond is a better player than Steph Curry," which I think is hysterical. Drummond, very solid center. He was a big rebounding guy, defensive guy. I don't know if he's still in the league. Clearly not a superstar. That's Angel Reese. Angel Reese grabs rebounds a lot of times off her own misses. Caitlin Clark led the WNBA in both three-pointers made and assists. Do you have any idea how hard that is to do while averaging about 19 points a game? The games aren't as long as NBA games, so you typically, in fact, Asia Wilson, the woman who won WNBA MVP, had by far the highest points per game average in WNBA history at 26. In the NBA, you'll get guys leading the league and scoring at like 33. I believe Michael Jordan was like 37 points a game. Wilt the Stilt averaged 55 points a game, I think, one season. But in order to lead the league in both three-pointers made and assists, you have to just be spectacular. Pretty much every time you touch the ball, you're either hitting a three or assisting somebody on a layup. That's how good Caitlin Clark was. My guess is that she'll win MVP within the next 2 or 3 years. However, the playoffs opened up, and she's still getting absolutely mauled by women who, I think we need to talk about the elephant in the room, don't particularly like her because of all the attention that's placed on her and the fact that she's white. Skip Bayless actually admitted this last week. On his podcast, he said, I was scared because I see this girl dominating and, leading to all of these people watching the WNBA who never watched the WNBA before. But I didn't want to contribute to that, or I was scared rooting for her because of all of the racially complicating things, Skip. His old partner, Shannon Sharp, famously of an Instagram video that we will not talk about again, took aim squarely at this on ESPN on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. And he said, look, there's a whole lot of why aren't you talking about me going on in the WNBA. It's all based on jealousy. Now, Shannon didn't want to get into the racial component of it, but it is very clearly there. If Caitlin Clark was black, she would be absolutely everywhere, but a whole lot of the established WNBA players and WNBA legends like Cheryl Swoops clearly don't like this woman because she's white. That is a big part of it. Don't try to tell me otherwise. Do you know the last time I can remember this sort of animosity with someone who did more for their respective industry than perhaps anyone else? Eminem. I can remember when Eminem came out and he was despised because a lot of people thought he shouldn't even be allowed to rap because he's a white guy. Well, it turns out the guy is just better at rap. He's just very, very good. Same thing with Caitlin Clark. Race doesn't factor into it. On Sunday, Caitlin Clark's taking a three, and a woman puts her hand up to block the three. Caitlin gets the shot off, but then there's an angle where you can see, instead of like how you would normally put your arm down, she takes her hand and puts her fingers into like a Three Stooges finger pointing, like Mo would do to Curly. And she takes her hands and pokes directly into Caitlin Clark's eye. I can't say for certain if this was intentional, but it sure as hell looked intentional. And given the fact that Caitlin Clark was the person who drew, are you ready for this, during the regular season? She was responsible for drawing 17% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA. Clearly something going on there. All right, that is way more than I wanted to talk about. So, of course, here's our company. iHeartMedia comes out. Caitlin wins the WNBA, Rookie of the Year unanimously. There's clearly no real rivalry with Angel Reese. Yes, they had the thing where Angel Reese just behaved like an insolent child. Instead of celebrating with her teammates at LSU after winning the NBA or NCAA championship, she's got to go up to Caitlin Clark and start taunting her to her face. And people thought that made a rivalry. And then her team, the Chicago Sky, was the one that flagrant fouled Caitlin Clark more than any other team in the league by far. That doesn't make a rivalry. That makes for a thug who is so ticked off that Caitlin Clark is just a better player. So Sports Illustrated, guess who they put on their cover of the most influential athletes of the year? Angel Reese, who didn't get a single first place vote for Rookie of the Year. But yes, Angel Reese, they are trying to push this. And quite frankly, folks, lest you think that, and this is what Skip Bayless was saying. He said, well, here's this white girl from a red state, and it seems like all the Trumpers like her because she's white. No. Frankly, folks, I could not possibly care less about the WNBA with or without Caitlin Clark in it. I barely have time to watch the Packers, for goodness sakes. I think I can count on probably two hands the number of Brewers games I've seen this season. I'm just a busy guy. I'm not going to sit down, the Chicago Sky are playing the Las Vegas Aces. No, I'm not. But what I can tell you, it's this narrative that the media constantly pushes. It is constantly this sort of quasi-race war narrative. And look, we're just sort of ignoring the fact that clearly there are a lot of players in the WNBA who are black, who are beating the holy hell out of Caitlin Clark because she is good and white, and they are jealous of her. All right, that is probably going to be the longest you will ever hear me talk about the WNBA. We're going to bring you the unhinged liberal of the day next. And trust me, folks, this one is a doozy. Hey, Dan O'Donnell for my friends at Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you wherever you are in Southeast Wisconsin. I've been a loyal Mander customer for nearly 8 years now because of their skill and price, sure, but also because their customer service is the sort you can only get at a third-generation family business. But don't just take my word for it. Here's Colleen, who writes, I just recently had my car repaired at Mander, and they were amazing in every way. Special shout out to Noelle at the front desk for always being available and providing updates. Very much appreciated. So too is your testimonial, Colleen, because I have heard dozens and dozens just like it. People talk about the great experience they have at Mander because it really is the best decision you can make after a collision. With 7 locations to serve you, you can start your repair easily at mandercollision.com. That's mandercollision.com.
Uline is here for the hard workers, for the ones rolling up their sleeves, working round the clock, and getting the job done. You're dedicated to doing what it takes to keep a business growing. Uline is dedicated to helping you make that happen. Working 7 days a week, staying fully stocked and ready to ship any of our 41,000 items the same day. Uline, your shipping and industrial supply specialists. Visit uline.com.
Kevin Moret for Mentality Men's Health. Guys, are you tired of losing? No results, passed over, no respect. It might be low testosterone. At Mentality Health, we've helped over 20,000 men just like you face to face right here in Milwaukee. Imagine having the energy and confidence to tackle whatever comes your way every single day. Get custom treatment designed specifically for you. Visit lowtusa.com, get tested, and get your power back. You're not here to be average. Start winning again with Mentality Health. Make today the day you take control.
Any exterior remodeling company can give you a lot of good reasons to get a new roof, siding, windows and doors, or masonry work. Aesthetic appeal alone or just resale value help it all make sense. But I'm compelled to continue to tell you what sets Semper Fi apart from the rest. What you're going to get from Semper Fi is a reputation that is backed by an undeniable stack of proof that we are who we say we are. Our character is guided by a level of trust and accountability which not only holds our teams together, but also keeps our reputation intact. And ultimately, that means leaving you satisfied. So when you're about to make that big investment in your home, isn't that what you want? This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
When is the last time you paid less but got more in return? It happens every day if you or a loved one has Medicare Advantage. $0 copays and an average of $2,500 less out of pocket annually, but more benefits like dental, hearing, and vision. More prevention and screenings to keep people healthy. More care for less money. No wonder 33 million seniors choose Medicare Advantage. Visit MedicareAdvantageMajority.org to learn more. Paid for by Medicare Advantage Majority.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sometimes it's hard to figure out what to do about things like retirement planning, selling a business, or building your legacy. So when other advisors present products packed with commissions, you start to wonder, is this advice or a sales pitch? Annex Wealth Management is a fee-only fiduciary. No commission products, just clear thinking when it comes to investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. Head to annexwealth.com, click the Get Started button. It only takes a couple of minutes. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management.
If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center. See orthowisconsin.com.
Lock in for October. Brewers postseason tickets are on sale now. Clear your schedule, claim your spot, and be here for a Brewers postseason run you don't want to miss at brewers.com/postseason.
Next hour, we will get you that semi-exclusive story about a group, Catholics for Catholics, who says that Lamar Advertising is discriminating against their pro-Trump messaging for dubious reasons right here in Wisconsin. Also, are their ballots being stolen from out of the mail in Wauwatosa? A couple of exclusive stories coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. Plus, we'll talk with Annette Olson over at the McIver Institute about what they're working on, as well as a great event with Tucker Carlson, who is, of course, just here with the Fiserv Forum. A much more intimate evening with Tucker where you might even get to meet him. I did last year, got to talk to him for a good 10 to 15 minutes. My wife and I had a great conversation with Tucker, and it's a wonderful event. We'll discuss it all coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. Right now, though, one of the best unhinged liberals of the day that you have heard in quite a while.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Does that make me crazy?
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is Kelly Hyman. She is a Democrat strategist, an attorney from Florida. She's also a surrogate for Kamala Harris. She was on Fox News yesterday with Sandra Smith and had an absolute meltdown when she was asked for specifics of Kamala's economic plan.
What is Harris's plan? We're waiting.
Okay, there's a lot of aspects to it in regards to looking at it online. So let's talk about lowering the grocery costs, because that's something that's brought up. The viewers can look at this online. She talks about certain things in regards to advancing the first federal ban on price gouging on food and groceries, to set clear rules to the road to make it clear that big corporations can't unfairly exploit consumers as well.
Is that
and
happening?
secure new
Is that happening?
It's not at this moment. No, this is her plan that's laid out for the first 100 days when she becomes president of the United States of America.
Is that currently happening?
In regards to I don't know exactly if that's currently happening or not, because I'm not privy to that type of information. Okay. But there are people are costing a lot of money in regards to groceries.
Okay, it seems like you're having a hard time articulating her plan. And
I'm not. Honestly, that's not true. Please, I'm constantly being interrupted by you, which, as a woman, I think is disrespectful. When I'm trying to speak, every time I try and speak, you speak over me.
Okay, final thought.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, I was giving you time there. All right, thank you very much.
All right, so any final thoughts? Yeah, no, I got nothing. So she's going to tackle price gouging, but is that actually going on? Well, I don't have any evidence to suggest that's going on. All in all, great appearance. Kelly Hyman, Democrat attorney, Kamala Harris surrogate. Now, of course, Kamala herself could go on the Sandra Smith program and clear this all up, but that's rather obviously not going to happen. Kelly Hyman, your unhinged liberal of the day. As I said, we are working on a couple of exclusive stories. Also, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson is going to release his 2025 budget. This comes amidst doomsday predictions by Milwaukee County, even though both entities just imposed a brand new sales tax less than a year ago. Have they already squandered that money? We'll try to dive into that. Also, more problems in the polling for Kamala Harris. You know what the problem with the Dan O'Donnell Show always is? I've got 2 hours for like 5 hours worth of content. So we'll try to jam it all in about 43, 44 minutes is, I think, what we get in a given hour with the news and the commercials. That news is coming up next. Hour 2 on the way. It's conservative thought, not just talk.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Tad Allen. A bomb threat clears out a couple government buildings in Racine County yesterday. The threat came in as an automated voice 911 call. It led to the county's courthouse and law enforcement center to be evacuated. Law enforcement swept both buildings. They found nothing of concern. All county buildings and agencies are expected to return to normal operations in Racine County today. The Criminal Investigations Bureau of the county sheriff's office is investigating. Wisconsin's governor expects to once again disagree with Republican lawmakers on how much money to spend in the next state budget. Governor Tony Evers told the Wisconsin Counties Association yesterday he expects to have the same budget arguments as years past. Evers says his priorities for the next state budget are finding a way to fix child care in the state and, of course, send more money to the University of Wisconsin. Republicans have either modified or completely rewritten each one of the governor's previous 3 budgets. They expect to do the same next year as well. The suspect in an apparent assassination attempt on former President Trump at a Florida golf course is being denied bond. Ryan Ruth appeared yesterday in a West Palm Beach federal court. A judge denied Ruth bond after hearing from federal prosecutors in the defense. Also, the Justice Department revealed new evidence in the alleged assassination attempt, including a letter written by Ruth. The letter was addressed to the world and said, "This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you." Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports scoreboard, the Brewers begin a series with the Pirates tonight in Pittsburgh. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Whether it was from a burn, heat, water, or a candle wax spill, if you have a great piece of wood furniture that has a damaged top, don't worry, because if we have to, we can refinish tops only. Other places may say you need to refinish the whole piece, but we can do better than that. So don't let your great piece go to waste. If it's just the top you need refinished, or for jobs of any size, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. He was told it would cost him $1,000 to refinish his chair, but when it was done, he'd be able to sell it for at least twice that, only to find out that he paid more to refinish the chair than it was actually worth. You gotta watch out for dishonest people out there, but not over here. With over 50 years of experience, we'll give you a good idea of the value of your piece and whether it's worth refinishing. So for honest answers, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Rain returns to our area today. There could be periods of heavier rain, and we'll watch for a high near 68. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy, 56. Should see some sunshine tomorrow and a high near 74 degrees. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance makes it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
Hey friends, I'm Benjamin Yount, and I want to tell you about my decision to do something about my weight with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Don't just take it from me. Paige is the owner of Awaken 180 Weight Loss, and she called me my very first week to talk me through what I can experience.
The more people who can transform their lives and feel better and be more confident and be happier and see that change come through in every aspect of their life, not just in their weight or how they look or the clothes that they wear, but in their career and in their family and how they inspire their kids. That's why we do this.
Thanks, Paige. Changing lives without medication, going to the gym or fasting. If you're ready to make a 180 with your health, do what I did. Choose the solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or find them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Blunt force from an honest man. The Jay Weber Show, weekday morning 6 to 9 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
It's showtime. Nary Home Improvement showtime. Hi, I'm Mike Madsen, owner of Color Wheel Painting. I invite you to visit Color Wheel at the Nary Milwaukee Home Improvement Show, October 18th to 20th. Now, why would you do something like this? Because it makes sense. And you like things that make sense. This is a chance to meet us in a no-pressure environment. Away from your home, away from any pressure of being sold, or feeling on the spot. So take some photos of your place, bring them along, generate some ideas, and take your time with us at our booth. Get to know Color Wheel. See if we are the right kind of people for you. And let's talk. It's literally what we're there for. Color Wheel Painting, cabinet painting, wallpaper install, ceilings, walls, and trim. One room or a large whole home project. One painter or many more. Always on time, on budget, and always the best service. Visit us at the Nary Milwaukee Home Improvement Show. Color Wheel Painting.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
News Talk 1130 WISN.
Water running back to your foundation due to settling concrete can lead to extremely expensive foundation repairs, even mold and bacteria in your home. MudTech
262-337-0934.
Call MudTech for a free estimate today.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Dedicated to providing right-minded candor on the issues that matter to you. This is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Wauwatosa says that his mail-in ballot was stolen. That when he went to his mailbox to get it, he saw that the envelope it was sent in was there. The instructions on how to fill the ballot out were there. The ballot itself and the return envelope were not. An exclusive story here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. If you would like to join us, 414-799-1130 is our adventnews.com talk and text line. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. And watch the show streaming live on X, on Facebook, or our YouTube channel. Just search for Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show. This morning at about 8:35 a.m., I received the following email. And for those of you who are watching the Dan O'Donnell Show live via the DanoCam, you'll notice that for the first segment of the show, it wasn't on. It's because I was working on this story literally right up until the theme music played. Didn't have time to get the camera set up and all the software rolling, so I just decided, you know what? We're going to have an audio-only first segment because I've been chasing down this story. Received the following email. Dan, I recently contacted the Wauwatosa City Hall to get my absentee ballot. It arrived in the mail the other day, but upon closer inspection, I noticed the envelope had been opened and the ballot had been removed. The direction sheet with how to return the absentee ballot remained in the envelope, but the important documents clearly had been taken. I am contacting you for two reasons. One, what am I supposed to do now? Is my vote stolen? Two, maybe warn other people who are receiving absentee ballots to keep a close eye on their mailboxes so they do not have the same thing happen to them. I am more interested in my first question, so I am looking for any help on that as I couldn't find anything online. The email is then signed. I am not going to release the name of this person as I don't want to subject them to any potential retaliation. I then called the emailer who left his cell phone number. He called me back and we chatted for a good amount of time. He confirmed that, yes, when he went to get his ballot out of his mailbox after requesting a mail-in ballot, the ballot appeared to have been stolen. Now, he says he then contacted the clerk's office. I told him via email before saying, hey, I'd like to give you a call. I said, first, contact the Wauwatosa City Clerk's office to say, hey, what do I do now? Two, contact the Wauwatosa Police Department because this appears to be a crime. This appears to be theft. and it appears to be potentially a federal crime. Mail theft is a federal crime, and I'm taking a wild guess that literally stealing somebody's ballot would be too. I asked, why is it that you believe this ballot has been stolen? The caller said, because of the way that the envelope was open. When he said that he had contacted City Hall, the clerk's office said, look, we have had issues with this before. I also have a call into the clerk's office. I have been trying to work this story right before I went on the air. The clerk's office told him that they have had issues with the adhesiveness of the ballot envelope and that it was coming open in the mail and that things were falling out. This didn't sit well with the caller because he told me, Dan, this didn't look like the adhesive on the envelope, the sticky part that you lick or use glue to seal shut. It didn't look like this was done. You could see the corner of this was sort of rumpled, as though somebody took their finger or took their thumb to try to open this and then slid a mail opener or a finger to get the already loose adhesive open. Also, the two things that were missing were my ballot and the return envelope. In other words, the two things that would be needed for somebody to steal my vote. They didn't need the instructions, apparently. One would think if the ballot was just sort of opened on its own, if it just sort of the adhesive, was loose, one would think that all the contents would fall out. Maybe some of them would. I don't know the physics of this, and, anything is possible. But this guy says he is convinced that someone went in and took his ballot right out of the mail. I am calling for a full investigation by the Wisconsin Elections Commission, by the State Department of Justice, by the Wauwatosa Police Department, and by the Wauwatosa City Clerk's Office. In addition, if anyone else has had the same issue, I want you to immediately contact me at dod@iheartmedia.com. I do not know whether this is a widespread issue, whether ballots are actually getting stolen. My caller said he believed his ballot was. Wauwatosa City Clerk says, look, there is an innocent explanation, but this would also suggest that other ballots are not getting to the people that they intended to, and instead we've got ballots just sort of in the wild that could be filled out and returned by anyone. This caller's ballot is now out there somewhere. There is no chain of custody. We have no idea where it is going to be because we have a secret ballot. We have no idea which ballot is returned, which ballot is his. It's just out there. It can be filled out. It can be a fraudulent vote. This is about as serious an issue as it gets. This is also how it has long been believed that ballot harvesting or ballot theft works. And this isn't just the crazy conspiracy theorist Dan O'Donnell talking out of his behind. In 2018, in a congressional election in North Carolina, that's exactly what a Republican operative was doing, requesting mail-in ballots in the names and addresses of people who he knew were never, ever going to vote in this race, and they would just steal the ballots as soon as they arrived at the mailboxes. They knew when those ballots were likely to arrive, and they would just intercept them. This is a different variation. This, the caller says, yes, I did request this ballot, but I am saying it appears to me that my ballot was stolen. Again, we have a witness who says, look, based on the ballot envelope that I got, it looks like my ballot is stolen. We now have a caller on the line, Tom in West Dallas, who says the same thing happened to him. Tom, is that true? Tom, you're on the air.
Good morning,
sir.
Dan.
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, Dan. Yeah, I got the mail yesterday, and my son, who's a Democrat, whatever, he got the whole package. All I got was the white envelope with nothing inside of it. All the return stuff. and it was wrapped in a post office, kind of a filmy thing that with everything missing.
So you're saying the ballot, the envelope, and the instructions were all missing from your ballot that was mailed to you?
That's correct.
And you live in West Allis?
I live in West Allis. I went to City Hall, and I showed them what I had received, and they said they were going to send me another one out. But what happened to my first one now?
That's a great question. When did you receive this empty ballot?
Just yesterday morning.
Okay. And your son lives at the same address?
Yes, and his came fully intact. Everything was there.
And when you say it was wrapped in a film by the post office, you're saying just like the standard mail wrap, right? It's almost like a saran wrap.
It's a clear see-through. It says post office, but I don't know why it was put in there because nothing. I'm assuming because that was the only thing that was there. They knew it was missing. I don't know.
Was that film like sliced or opened in any way?
No, yeah. You could easily open it with a piece of. It's got a little bit of sticky back thing on it, but you could open it and reclose it.
Okay. So you're saying you could open it, take all this stuff out, and reclose it.
Correct.
Tom, I am going to ask you to. You contacted City Hall already. I want you to contact the West Allis Police Department. Loyal listener Tim texting in saying the U.S. Postal Service should be investigating this as well. I would like you, and I'm going to advise the man who called me from Wauwatosa earlier to do this as well. Contact the U.S. Postal Service to investigate what happened to this ballot, because this does have the potential for vote fraud to take place. This is also, thank you so much, Tom, for sharing your story with us. Really do appreciate it. This does get to the heart of why mail-in balloting was in 2005, according to a bipartisan commission to study America's election integrity and safety, determined to be the single easiest way to commit voter fraud. Now, you might say, well, Dan, this is some right-wing think tank. It's like Project 2025, only in 2005. No, this bipartisan commission was co-chaired by Jimmy Carter. The other co-chair was Jim Baker. Not exactly a Trumper Republican, he. 20 years ago, we knew that mail-in balloting was not safe, not secure. This is why. Now, you might say, Dan, why is it that you're promoting mail-in balloting and early voting and all of this? Because I want to end it. Because I want to have Republicans with such a massive advantage in it that Democrats beg us to go back to same-day voting. I'm not going to suggest that this is any more widespread than a handful of people in Wauwatosa and our caller Tom in West Allis, but clearly this is something going on. And it might be ballot theft. It might be something as innocent as incompetence in the level of seal that clerk's offices are putting on these envelopes, but it's clear something is going on here. And again, if this happens to you, contact your clerk's office, contact your local police department, contact the post office, and contact the Dan O'Donnell Show. We will be right back in just a second. Conservative thought, not just talk.
iHeartRadio brings you Global Citizen Festival 2024 from New York City at Central Park's Great Lawn. Live performances from Post Malone, Doja Cat, Jelly Roll, Benson Boone, and more. Join the movement to end extreme poverty now, one action at a time at globalcitizenfestival.com. Hear the entire festival live on the iHeartRadio app all day this Saturday, and the best of the best moments on the free iHeartRadio app's Hit Nation station, Saturday night at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
Make American Family Field your space to grow relationships with clients, employees, and prospects with Brewers season memberships for the 2025 season. Your corporate season membership with the Brewers grants exclusive discounts on premium meeting spaces, invitations to networking events, and one-of-a-kind opportunities to grow your business at the ballpark. Learn more about Brewers season memberships for businesses at brewers.com/ticket plans or call 414-902-PITS.
Granite Plus is here to save your renovation from turning into a circus. Meet Bob. Bob hired some experts who turned his kitchen into a stupendous mess.
Hey, what the?
He should have called Granite Plus for countertops, cabinets, and flooring. With stable prices and 0% financing, you keep your cash flow fribble-tastic.
Done and done.
On time and on budget for flips, rentals, or dream homes. Granite Plus, turning your property into a splendiferous snazzle-frump.
Wow, this is perfect.
Skip the mess. Visit Granite Plus in New Berlin today and leave the juggle fluff to the clowns.
Dan Small here. Join me for the latest info on your favorite outdoor activities. Saturday morning at 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Brought to you by Remy Battery, serving Milwaukee since 1931. RemyBattery.com.
Water running back to your foundation due to settling concrete can lead to extremely expensive foundation repairs, even mold and bacteria in your home. MudTech
262-337-0934.
Call MudTech for a free estimate today.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word secure to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantage status. So text secure to 989898. That's secure to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Continue to follow this issue because I take issues of election integrity and potential vote fraud very, very seriously. We had two people, one in West Allis, one in Wauwatosa, both tell me that they had their ballots delivered to them without ballots. If you had the same thing happen to you, easiest way to get a hold of me, DOD@iHeartMedia.com. Vice President Kamala Harris becoming the first candidate in 40 years to skip the Catholic Church's annual Al Smith dinner in New York. Timothy Cardinal Dolan, our old friend from here in Milwaukee, talked about that yesterday.
We're disappointed. We were looking forward to giving the vice president an enthusiastic welcome. And we were confident that she would find this. You know, she speaks very much about the high ideals and how it's good to get away from division and come together in unity and all. Well, that's what the Al Smith dinner is all about. We haven't given up yet. We're not used to this. We don't know how to handle it. This hasn't happened in 40 years since Walter Mondale turned down the invitation. And remember, he lost 49 out of 50 states. I don't want to say there's a direct connection there. But so we're not used to this. And we're not giving up. You know who's been a help to us, Lauren, is Senator Schumer and Governor Hochul. They both are working hard to see that they convince her to come.
So there's still a chance.
Yeah, and Senator Schumer said to me, he said, I don't think she made the decision. I think her schedulers are saying she can't make it. So we're not giving up. We hope she's there.
Do we think she's actually going to show up? I'm going to say probably not. The Al Smith dinner is everybody wears a white tie and the two presidential candidates come together and they trade lighthearted barbs. It's a fun event. It benefits the Catholic Church. It's a fun time. It's sort of like the Netflix roasts only the Catholics doing it. So you know there's going to be pretty much G-rated humor. It's always good. You could hear Cardinal Dolan getting in a little shot about Walter Mondale skipping it. It's that type of humor. It's always very fun. And Kamala, this just sort of speaks to her utter inability to speak extemporaneously or be in any sort of setting. So either she put the kibosh on it because she says, no, I don't want to do this, or her staff said, no, we don't think this is a good idea because it might allow for the people to see her unscripted. Speaking of the Catholic Church, a group that is not affiliated with the Catholic Church. Remember, the Catholic Church is a massive organization headed by some guy over in Rome. Il Papa, the Pope, Pope Francis I, the Vatican. There are cardinals beneath him that comprise the College of Cardinals who select a new pope. Then there are individual dioceses. The Catholic Church is its own entity. There is a group that's called Catholics for Catholics. It's a group that apparently is a bunch of Catholics who do stuff for Catholics. I'm guessing based on the name Catholics for Catholics. They are announcing on their website, and I talked to one of the organizers of this group yesterday. They believe that they have been right here in Wisconsin the victims of censorship with one of the nation's largest billboard providers, Lamar Advertising. In the interest of full disclosure, I work for a company, iHeartMedia, that owns another one of the largest billboard companies in the world. It is a direct competitor of Lamar Advertising, Clear Channel Outdoor. To be sure, I have absolutely no contact with Clear Channel Outdoor. We're run as separate entities, but just full disclosure, Lamar Advertising is a competitor of Clear Channel Outdoor, which is owned by the same company, iHeartMedia, that owns my employer, News Talk 1130 WISN, and then we are simulcast on another station, 1310 WIBA in Madison, and that is way more about media advertising than you probably ever needed to know, but I do need to disclose that. The billboard that the group wanted to come up is pretty much benign. It shows Trump in that iconic pose after his first assassination attempt with his fist raised, blood on his face. He's chanting fight. And then it shows St. Michael the Archangel in blue. Trump's background features red and white stripes. And it says, St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. The logo Catholics for Catholics is in the upper left corner. And then the website CFORC.com is in the upper right. According to the website, CFORC.com, after signing a contract with an initial representative of Lamar who had previously received the artwork for this billboard, C4C was notified that such artwork had been denied by Lamar's corporate office because the concern was that it plainly could be taken as a Catholic endorsement of Trump. C4C was told that the requirements to continue its advertisement were to remove their logo type, website, and use the abbreviation C4C on the sponsor disclaimer paid for by Catholics for Catholics. In other words, they asked C4C to renounce their Catholic identity in order to run the billboard ads. C4C rejected their arbitrary suggestion and took their business elsewhere. It is interesting to note that C4C volunteers have identified the actual billboard that was canceled as being in heavily Catholic Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and have put eyes on the boards only to report back that the opposite sides of the agreed upon boards contain pro-Kamala Harris advertisements paid for by the Democrat Party. It's a picture of some dude named Steve who says, I'm a former Trump voter, I'm a conservative, I won't vote for Trump. They're really leaning heavily, and you've seen this one. Producer Andrew says he's seen this exact billboard. Steve is an angry-looking guy, Andrew. That is correct. He's kind of got that smug... Actually, you know who he kind of looks like? I'm not even kidding you. He sort of looks like Marx. He looks like Karl Marx with a far more tamed beard. Like, if Marx was into hygiene, I think he would look like Steve. Steve is trying very hard to smile, but his seething, simmering rage at Donald Trump prevents him from getting all the way there. He does look like a severe, stern-looking fellow who won't vote for Trump. So, Catholics for Catholics says Lamar's stated reason for not giving them the billboard space is that it could be confusing to viewers that the Catholic Church would be behind this billboard endorsing Trump. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty certain that the Catholic Church's billboard is not c4c.com. Or the Catholic Church's web address is not c4c.com. In fact, I don't even know, I'm a terrible Catholic, what the Catholic Church's official URL is. I don't think they even have one. I know the Milwaukee Archdiocese, I remember that one, archmill.org. Should we see CatholicChurch.org does not appear to work. Oh, wait. Yep, that is the website for the Holy See. It is actually, it redirects to Vatican.va. So clearly something that's called c4c.com probably couldn't, and if you look at it, it says Catholics for Catholics. And all it says is St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle with Donald Trump. In no way does it say vote for Donald Trump. In no way does it say the Catholic Church endorses Donald Trump, or even Catholics for Catholics endorses Donald Trump. It merely says, St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. And then there's the picture of Trump, who has just gotten shot. The implication is St. Michael is standing with Trump to defend us as we fight against the people who want to shoot Trump in the face. Lamar's argument, I guess, might hold water if there was something that appeared to be an endorsement of Donald Trump. The group Catholics for Catholics, okay, I guess you could say this is a group that some people might think is officially affiliated with the Catholic Church. To be clear, it is not. But in no way could this represent a potential endorsement, because nothing is even said about voting. Steve, on the other side of the billboard, this stern-looking Karl Marx doppelganger, says, I'm not voting for Donald Trump. The implication is you shouldn't either if you're a true conservative Republican. That, by the way, is quite the admission, isn't it? That I think Kamala Harris knows there's way more people like Steve that she needs to reach. If you listen to a whole lot of her advertisements, it's jaded Republicans. I think she's worried, incidentally, about a turnout problem this November. We're already starting to see it in the states that have partisan primaries where you register as a Republican or a Democrat. The states that people are watching most closely are obviously Pennsylvania, also Virginia, to a lesser extent Florida. I don't think there's anyone alive who expects Florida to be a swing state this year, but the mail-in ballot returns are showing a much higher percentage of Republicans right now than Democrats returning their ballots. So it seems as though Kamala might be worried about her base not turning out. Coming up next on the Dan O'Donnell Show, we will talk to the CEO of the MacIver Institute, Annette Olson, about the upcoming Tucker Carlson event.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Freedom is a wonderful yet fragile ideal. Freedom empowers us to be great and do great things, individually and as a nation. As Americans, we are the stewards of freedom, and we are responsible for its preservation. This starts with voting. Voting is a privilege, and we are obligated to research and select leaders who stand for the promise of the American dream. Our choice for president cannot be driven solely by opposition to one candidate. And while not voting or choosing a third party is our right, we must ask, are these choices the best way to protect our freedoms? Our vote is precious. Let us remember that freedom is a privilege paid for by the lives of countless men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. By making informed, selfless choices on Election Day, we honor their legacy and the legacy of freedom. From all the landscape experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services, may God bless you and may God bless America.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Hard to believe the kids are back in school already and fall is at hand. This just might be the perfect time to visit the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Richfield to say goodbye to summer and hello to fall. Take the Holy Hill exit from Highway 41, turn west, and then take a right at Wolf Road. The Sawmill is just around the bend on your left.
Folks that have heard me over the years know that we're a Marvin window and door dealer. We like them because they build quality products, and they like us because we sell a lot of those quality products for them. And that gives us the luxury of being able to offer Marvin windows in more sizes and color combinations than anyone. And that's good for you, especially if you're not willing to compromise on quality. Because the Marvin family of brands strives to push design to its limits in aesthetics, function, and durability. Their products are preferred for new construction, remodels, and replacement projects when compromise isn't an option. Obviously, installation matters too, and we are fanatics about it because we know that quality products can't be as good as their build without the finest installation. This is David Wilhelm. If you're just not willing to settle for less, choose your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door for Marvin windows and doors that are built around you.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cabovers than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit LynchTruckCenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Dan O'Donnell here alongside Dave Spano, the CEO of Annex. It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management. And this week, we're putting a focus on the intersection of politics and economics, as the market is typically a pretty good predictor of the presidential race, Dave.
Yeah, there is for sure. You know, everyone pays attention to the polls, and we look at them, but we look at other indicators. And one of those is, what does the S&P 500 do in the 3 months leading up to the election day? And it's been correct about 85% of the time. So if the S&P is higher heading into the election, that's obviously generally pretty good for the incumbent. The second thing we look at, what is the dollar doing? If the dollar is getting weaker, that is good for the incumbent. The VIX, which is the volatility index, is it calm or is it freaking out as we go into the election? And what is the unemployment rate? Is it rising as we go into the election? As of right now, all 4 of those indicators, Dan, are looking towards a Harris win. Don't freak out if you're a conservative right now, because there is generally an October surprise. What that could mean is the market could react, the VIX could go up, the dollar could weaken, and unemployment could go higher. So let's pay attention to all of the data as we get into the election over the next number of days. But as you said, Dan, the intersection of economics and politics is really front and center over the next number of weeks.
And that's why we cover it, not just here on the air, but also on our podcast, The Difference, which you can get on your iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts. Dave and I talk about that intersection of politics and economics and how both impact you. You need to know what you own and why you own it. You need a fee-only fiduciary to get you a review of your portfolio. It's called a Wealth Metric, available only at AnnexWealth.com. For Dave Spano, I'm Dan O'Donnell. This has been This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Bob Tarantino here for EasyHomeBidder.com. A 62 Ferrari sold for $52 million and a 1955 Mercedes sold for $142 million, with both buyers and sellers excited to win. Want to win selling your home? Want to win buying your home? Only EasyHomeBidder.com guarantees maximum sales exposure and maximum buying opportunity. Sell or buy real estate, your big win is waiting at EasyHomeBidder.com. That's EasyHomeBidder.com. Real estate for winners, EasyHomeBidder.com. That's EasyHomeBidder.com.
Your home cleaning friend, it's Edelman again. Edelman.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
To the Dan O'Donnell Show, classical conservatism, contemporary style. You hear me talk often about the McIver Institute. I write columns. I produce videos for them. I have had a long-standing partnership with McIver. Joining us now is the CEO, Annette Olson. Yes, technically my boss and editor, but she is here not to reprimand me, thank goodness. Annette, I promise the column is almost done. I've got a rough draft almost finished. No, she is here to talk about a very cool event. Tucker Carlson is coming to the Waukesha Expo Center. What's going on, Annette?
Hey, Dan, how are you? It's a great morning.
You too. So tell us about this event with Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, so we are very excited to have Tucker Carlson come back for our annual fundraiser event. We had him last year, and it was spectacular, so we booked him right away again. He'll be coming to join us on October 3rd at the Waukesha Expo Center, and you can get tickets on our website at McIverInstitute.com. The event starts VIP reception at 5, and then the program begins at 7. General admission, doors open at 6 o'clock for the general admission tickets. But this is really exciting. We're going to talk about, all of the values that we agree with Dan O'Donnell listeners, and we want to make sure that we've got as many people coming and listening to Tucker. He is very much the leading voice in American politics.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, he is. I have been a huge fan of his from obviously his Fox News show, but even before that, when he was a commentator, when he did Crossfire on CNN, founded the Daily Caller. I mean, the man is just indispensable to conservatism. And actually, Annette, at our event last year, the McIver Institute fundraiser, I actually got to talk to him. He was so gracious that he talked to my wife and I for about 10 to 15 minutes, and we had such a great conversation. They literally had to pull us away because I was supposed to greet people in line while they were waiting to take their pictures with Tucker. He's a very gregarious and outgoing person, and unlike the event at the Fiserv Forum that I know a lot of people probably went to, you actually get a chance to meet him. This is a much more personal setting.
That's correct. And he is very engaging. And whenever I talk to anybody, and I'm guilty of it myself, I just want to hear him laugh. It is so contagious and authentic, and he really is a great human being. He believes in the same things that you and I do. We really want to make sure that we have, the right foot forward going into November. We want citizens-only voting. There's a lot of things that we want to do to save America, and Tucker's going to help us deliver that message. And if there are any young conservative or even liberal students out there, please call me, get to me at info@MacGyverInstitute.com, and I will see that you gain attendance to the program. We want to talk to all of the young minds out there.
This is also the big fundraiser for the MacIver Institute. Again, that website, MACIVER Institute.com. This is the big fundraiser. Why is it so important to fund the MacIver Institute and get conservative data? It's, as I said, I write columns for MacIver. I don't work directly. I'm an independent contractor. In case anyone was wondering, I put together videos. We have a wonderful video production guy. Matthew just does incredible work editing those. But there's also data analysis, budgetary analysis every 2 years. Why is the MacIver Institute so important to the conservative cause here in Wisconsin?
Well, the MacIver Institute really has been the long-term think tank here in Wisconsin. We look at the budget. We share information with legislators and with grassroots people all over the state. We want accountable government. We want government working within the Constitution. And so we want to make sure that people understand what, the proposed legislation that's coming through our legislature and why those things are either good or bad for ourselves, for our pocketbooks, for our mortgage, taxes, insurance. I mean, we know what's going on with inflation right now, and we really want to make sure that we are putting out the best information for citizens to understand what's happening. For instance, this constitutional amendment that's coming up on our ballot in November, there has been some confusion out there. But really, we want only citizens voting in American elections. And why anybody would think other than that is beyond me. But we are out there with that message. We're out there building coalitions of people, like-minded people, to make sure that we are talking to everybody in the state and getting voters out to vote. We also, it's very important to fundraise because we pay Dan for his contribution to MacIver. And I don't deduct when you're late.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes.
Really great material for us, as well as our own staff writers and other contractors that we have on with us. And the information, I believe, is invaluable to people who really want to know what's happening in Wisconsin.
Well, Annette, thank you so much for the kind words. And yes, for revealing this to be just a totally self-serving interview. I get like 50% of the profits from... No, I'm kidding. It was a great event last year. I'm sure it's going to be a great event this year. It's a week from Thursday, October 3rd, Waukesha Info Center. Waukesha Expo Center. All the info is available at MacIverInstitute.com, MACIVER Institute.com. The president, CEO, Grand Poobah of MacIver, Annette Olson, my guest. Annette, thank you so much. Really do appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Dan. You have a great rest of your program.
Thank you very much. And I am not kidding. I've got a great column coming up tomorrow on crime. And basically what we were talking about in the opening segment, how Milwaukee is spending on an art car that breaks down at the exact same time the entire system breaks down, leading to the death of an innocent 20-year-old girl. Some surprising news about an all-time Packers great. That's just breaking right now. We'll get it next.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Dan O'Donnell here, cordially inviting you on the adventure of a lifetime with Cruise and Tour, sailing Norway's breathtaking fjords aboard the magnificent Celebrity Eclipse, June 13th through the 23rd. The soaring mountainous landscapes, the crystal blue waters, the jaw-dropping glaciers, and the charm of old world Europe, all on one magical trip. We'll spend 2 days in Amsterdam, taking in the beauty of one of the most famous cities in the world, and then we'll board our ship, a state-of-the-art vessel with world-class amenities and entertainment. We'll cruise the fjords, which are almost indescribably beautiful. The mountain vistas rise above amazing ports of call like Molde, known as the Town of Roses, and Olden, a 17th century village at the basin of cascading waterfalls. For more information and to make your reservation, call 800-383-3131 or head to cruise-tour.com.
Are you ready to start a meaningful career in healthcare? Are you looking for a job that fits your work-life balance? Become a certified direct care professional today and make life better for older adults or people with a disability. WIS Caregiver Careers makes it easy with free online training plus earn a $500 bonus. See your name on Wisconsin's Certified Direct Care Registry. Sign up today at wiscaregivercdcp.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
When it comes to your physical health, getting to the bottom of a problem cannot happen fast enough. This is where Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin's Ortho ASAP clinics come to the rescue. If you're experiencing any sort of bone-on-bone, joint, or muscle problem, walk right in and be seen by an orthopedic specialist trained specifically to treat these conditions. Their website is orthowisconsin.com. The Ortho ASAP clinics are located at both the Pewaukee and Brookfield Square locations and are a lower cost, higher quality alternative to the traditional emergency room or urgent care. You'll be sure to be seen by an experienced orthopedic specialist who's surrounded by a staff that is trained to provide you with the best possible care. Also, their Ortho ASAP clinics are housed where they have on-site x-ray, physical therapy, and MRI capabilities to help with your care all right there. You can learn more at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Hey you! Daydreaming about that perfect house again? Hi, it's John Reeds from Great Midwest Bank, and whether your dream includes buying or building or renovating your current home, I'm happy to report that mortgage rates are finally starting to turn around. So make those dreams a reality with a custom-fit Great Midwest Bank mortgage product. We've been serving Southeast Wisconsin homeowners for nearly 90 years. Find a local experienced loan officer at greatmidwestbank.com. We can't wait to get started. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Looking to upgrade your bathroom? Check out Bath Fitter. One-day installation, no demolition, no mess, and they're celebrating 40 years in business this year. Call 262-395-4925 to make your appointment with Bath Fitter today.
Infinity's app shows precise costs of your new roof, providing peace of mind.
Infinity costs less, and the price we quote is surprise-free.
Because we pay less, you pay less. Warranted, guaranteed quality.
Installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
Hi, my name is Joseph Hastreiter, owner of EWH University. Listen in every Sunday at 11 a.m. on WISN and let me show you better strategies for increasing sales and generating more business.
I bet you have some great ideas. And what excites me is being able to use them to help design a home for you that's unique. A home that no one else has. That stretches both your and our imaginations.
Galman Homes.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
show going on right now. It is the 96th anniversary celebration and $1 million sell-off at Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. My family loves Built Right. In fact, my entire house was filled with Built Right furniture. Now it's all in storage. My new house is going to be filled with Built Right furniture. I'm already looking forward to heading out there and getting all new furniture. My in-laws, my brother who's down in Texas, my other brother has Built Right furniture. My mom's been shopping there for at least 20 years. They're celebrating 96 years as a family-owned business. And right now there are 5 family members involved, all of whom are fantastic friends. Marty, Gail, Randy, Brad, Sarah, they just do such an incredible job saving you money. Nobody beats Built Right's prices. And right now, you can get 15% off plus 1 year special financing or up to 4 years special financing. And with any purchase of $799 or more, I love this, you get a free 50 by 70 patriotic Stars and Stripes American flag blanket. I'll be totally honest with you. I want one of those blankets because they look very, very cool. You can also get a $96 gift card for 2025 purchases with any purchase of $300 or more during the anniversary celebration. Look, you know Built Right always saves you money. You know you got to get to Built Right today, but what I am telling you is that these are just great people who run a fantastic small family-owned business. It's a business I trust to furnish my entire house, and I can't recommend them highly enough. They're just genuinely good, kind, decent, hardworking people, so make sure to tell them Dan O'Donnell sent you when you stop in at 54th and Layton in Greenfield for the 96th anniversary celebration at Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. Some breaking news out of Brett Favre's congressional testimony today. He has announced that he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He's testifying before the House Ways and Means Committee in Washington, which is examining how states are falling short on using welfare to help families in need. You might remember Favre was intimately involved in an outright scam in Mississippi. He got $1 million in welfare funds, funds that were earmarked for welfare recipients to give speeches that he never gave. He says he has repaid all of that money, but the fact that the money was being paid to Brett Favre out of the General Mississippi Welfare Fund is frankly unconscionable. Now, Favre has said repeatedly he has done nothing wrong. He's even filed a defamation lawsuit against, was one of them Shannon Sharpe? Yeah. And Pat McAfee. He has sued Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee over their claims that he himself knowingly was skimming welfare money. The Parkinson's diagnosis, however, is significant. It's a disorder of the central nervous system. It affects movement, often causing tremors. Perhaps the most famous Parkinson's sufferers, Muhammad Ali, the late great heavyweight champion. Of course, Michael J. Fox, movie actor, star of the Back to the Future movies. About 500,000 people are diagnosed with the disease, according to the National Institutes of Health, but a whole lot of Parkinson's cases go undetected, so the actual number may be much higher. So our prayers go out to Brett Favre as he faces this battle. He won back-to-back-to-back MVP awards for the Pack in the 1990s. And, of course, the 1997 Super Bowl. We don't talk about what he did after he left the Packers. Although do you remember that year where he played for the Jets? Yeah. I remember when he unretired when he unretired, I believe that was the day that my wife and I closed on our first house. And I got called. I was working at WTMJ at the time. It was summer of 2008. And we were literally sipping champagne in an empty house with our little baby, who's now 17 years old. And I get a call. Hey, Dan, Brett Favre just said he's coming back to the Packers. I said, what do you mean he's coming back to the Packers? He retired. No, Dan. Brett Favre is unretiring. We need you to get in here right now. So I chugged my champagne, and let's just say it was probably not my finest broadcasting of my career, having just chugged. No, I had a little flute of champagne, and then, of course, had to run. So I remember that intimately. And then, of course, he went to the Minnesota Vikings, and, well, we all hated him for a while, but then came back and actually did give, if you get a chance to watch it, gave one of the absolute best Hall of Fame induction speeches I've ever heard. So again, we do send our thoughts and prayers to Brett Favre and Deanna and the whole family.